I haven't been talking about none of this drama because in all reality, I don't care about any of this drama. I'm here to play video games, do YouTube, and in fact, the way I sees it, I was too busy playing video games to even respond to any of this. That being said, this has been floating around, and I find this fucking hilarious. So, know your gaming crowd on X. You got the woke, Kate Bush husband, David Jaffe, Mighty Keith. I don't even know who this Michael person is. Censorious, alarming hive mind, industry access. I'll be real. I don't know if any of that like industry access part is true. Maybe for Mighty Keith. David Jaffe, I don't think so. He's kind of out of the game, whatever. Or Jaffe. I don't think these guys even play games. I don't really know what they talk about. Because I don't care about that. Faux anti-woke or woke light. Now I'm curious. I am curious about this. Now, mind you, I find this endearing. I get left off these lists all the time, and it's like, man, come on now. I'm out here causing a ruckus too. So I am actually happy to be on this list, and I'm in good company. I'm there with Pack Girl, my boy Jay Viper. V is a good dude. Like, this is, I am curious though. How can one be highly censorious and be woke light while the woke are just regular censorious? And I'll tell you how, because it's true. I am highly censorious. I don't want to see books like genderqueer in schools. So yes, yeah, that is technically censorship. By definition of censorship, yep, I'm highly censorious. I don't want to see books like genderqueer in schools. I don't think that communists should be given any platform to speak. Period. I don't care about my freedoms. I'm gonna be real. I don't. Commies aren't people, and if you're not a person, then you don't deserve human rights. Commies aren't people. I don't think commies should get to speak. I don't think the Muslims should get to speak. If your entire ideology is predicated upon having 9-year-old child brides and being okay with child rape, and then you say death to America here in America, I ain't about that life. So you're right. I will say, unlike my compatriots here in the faux anti-woke or the woke light, I will admit I am highly censorious, and I will never not be proud of that. Because censorship, when you're censoring things like Islam, child rape, mutilation of children via, gender-affirming care, that is base as fuck censorship. Yes, highly censorious. Now, I will say, don't know about the hive mind part, because I don't know if any of my compatriots here would agree with that. In fact, I don't even understand the hive mind thing. Bro, I've made more Endymion call out videos than I have Yorch ones. Because at least, Endymion sometimes has a point. Sometimes. Now, I think Endymion, I've gone on record saying many a time, homie is a straight up lion ass grifter that doesn't know what he's talking about. But at least he can frame it in such an eloquent way that I can have a little good verbal sparring match about it. But then we get to the conservative or their own niche. Razor Fist, of course, these two butt buddies, John Douglas, Revy. I'm gonna be real, censorious under extreme circumstances or not at all. I'm pretty sure that everything I just listed was extreme circumstances. Individualistic. Well, if you're individualistic, then why are you all here together? In fact, I for the longest time thought that Yorch and JDA were just the same person, but on an alt account. I'll be real. For the gender stuff, Yorch is after going through gender swap surgery like a man, came out looking like Timu Smash. Let's see. But yeah, I don't care about access, building their own thing. Oh yeah, that was another thing. Desperate for industry access. I've regularly advocated for the industry to burn the fuck down. How many anti-Capcom and anti-Square Enix videos have I made? And yes, that's true, Nerdigans. At least ND actually plays games. But I'm very curious. How many, just straight up attacking Capcom and Square Enix videos have I done? If the Capcom offices were to go the way of Kyo Annie tomorrow, I would celebrate. And for you guys that don't know what that means, if you guys don't understand the Kyo Annie reference, just hit up one of your weeb friends, one of your otaku friends. They'll let you know. That's a really dark joke. But I would still advocate for it. I guess you could call that highly censorious. I'm okay with censoring all of Capcom in account of their offices burning the fuck down. No, this is a thing of beauty. It is unfortunate though. It's unfortunate that it's not doing too well. Only 6,000 views. I want to pump those up. Only 6,000 views, almost 7,000 to be fair. I feel like more people need to know about how highly censorious I am. I want the entire world to know. That's why I do these streams. That's why I talk about things like gender affirming care for children, and how absolutely barbaric it is, and how all the doctors that do it and parents that are advocates for it should be locked up or wood chippered, because that is just my own personal brand of censorship. And I want the world to know how highly censorious I am. So it is true. But yeah, nah, he was just started going on some diatribes, dude. He was going buck wild in the comments, throwing a hissy fit over people not agreeing with him. And he's trying to play all diplomatic about it, which I appreciate, because frankly, it's kind of fucking funny. It's kind of funny, all because he got outed as a gay grifting colonizer, and that's what it boils down to. Let's take a look at some of these, though. Shout out to Packer Girl, who in the chat is Nerdigans. Great work here. You're just making things up, dude. Labeling people who call out bullshit as faux doesn't make you any more correct. In fact, it displays your own need for an echo chamber and factions. And that is what this is at the end of the day, to be fair. Yo, what up, Psychozon over on Kick? The irony of the whole individualistic is the need for an echo chamber. Anyone that's watched Saturday Night Hypnosis, anybody that watches Saturday Night Hypnosis knows that we fight all the goddamn time. Dude, me and Atreus frequently go at it. Cassie and Wizard, Kata and Atreus, like, we all argue with each other frequently, whether it be about whether or not a game is quote unquote woke, or whether it be whether or not the game is quote unquote good, where the industry is going, whether fans are correct or not. Like, the idea of Saturday Night Hypnosis being as amazing as it is because we don't agree almost ever. Like me and Cass on this last episode of SNH got into a fucking shouting match over the concept of exclusivity, how that ties into the libertarian mindedness of competition in the free market. So that's pretty fucking individualistic. It's funny. So he responds, though, look, man, I'm not the one who lost the plot by defending that Eevee childlike thing. But let's focus on what matters for a bit. No, let's not. Let's actually focus on this first part. I'm not the one who lost the plot by defending that Eevee childlike thing. Guys, it's okay to be gay. All right? It's now, I don't want you to do that shit around children. I don't want to see you be gay. But Yorch, homie, it is okay to be gay. Just tell yourself, come out the closet, you'll be better off for it. Because when he says that Eevee childlike thing, it goes to show to use, I guess I am, a woke leftist, because I'm going to use their talking points. Have you never seen a woman before? Have you never seen, man, I've seen plenty of East Asian women. I've seen plenty of a lot of East Asian women look like that, bro. A lot of East Asian women look like that. If you look at a character design that's clearly an East Asian adult, and you see a child, why are you seeing children everywhere, bro? That's some Muslim shit. I'll be real. For somebody that wants to, have an ethnic cleansing and be like a white nationalist nation as yours, wants, when you look at Eevee and you see a child, why is that the first? Just like the people that looked at Diana and Pragmatum, first thing they thought was like, oh, people want to fuck this kid. Yo, that was weird as shit, son. That's some straight up Muslim talk, right? Your Storch out here being a Muslim. I feel like we should all just start commenting bacon emojis. Yes, I know he's not even white. That's the funny part. I feel like we should start, commenting bacon emojis under these posts, because that would, that right there, it's some Muslim behavior. Shout out, member for 16 months. Welcome to Asmon Abridged, aka Glue on Head, aka Leona Blue. Damn, homie, coming with the insults. White nationalists? Exactly. See, my boy gets it. White nationalists? Yeah! White people! Let's go! Fuck yeah! White people are the best, dude. White people are the fucking best, bro. Like, I'm so much better at being a race grifter than Yorch because I actually am white. And that's the funny part. No, he doesn't play games. He even admitted as such in a different post by Pack Girl. I don't have it bookmarked anymore, or at least I don't think I do. I'll check my X. Maybe I still have it bookmarked. And then we'll get back to the rest of this, because he pretty much just openly stated as much on his own. Let's see. Scroll through here. I might actually still have it. Scrolling. No, oh no, I I may have deleted it. Either way, Packer Girl in the chat showed a screenshot of him saying, there are two types of people out there: those that play games and those that analyze market conditions. I'm the second one. So he straight up said he didn't play games. He just analyzes market conditions, whatever the fuck that means. I'm not actually sure. But yeah, so he does not play games, to answer your question. I guess that's the point that I was getting to. So he goes on to say, let's focus on what matters for a bit. The faux anti-woke provide very weak framework, both commercially and culturally. They can't explain why The Last of Us 2 sold 10 million copies, or Ghost of Yolte sold 3.3 million, or that 007 First Light has sold 3 million. Yeah, we can. I absolutely can. Does anybody in the chat want to venture a guess as to why these games sold? You can do both easily. This guy's just a Taurus. Right, that is true. And I do both. But anyway, he says this is such a weird position to hold. They provide a very weak framework. They can't explain why. Now, guys, because gaming is the largest entertainment industry in the world, right? That's an undeniable fact. When it comes to revenue, gaming is the largest entertainment industry in the world, and Free Expression Warrior got it correct, because normies eat slop. The brand, right? These are all 1000% normie games. Ghost of Yotei. Oh, you mean the sequel to one of the most beloved IPs on the PlayStation 4? Yeah, that sequel's going to do some numbers. It's not going to do as much numbers as the original because, Sony is not going to put it on PC unless they get real desperate. And it was generally a relatively unliked game. 3.3 million copies isn't, it's fine to begin with, but how's the longevity going to look? 007 First Light, yeah, a normie AAA game for James Bond, one of the biggest IPs in the world. That makes sense. Last of Us, it doesn't matter how bad Last of Us 2 is. People know it. People hate the Joel stuff and whatnot. But people had to buy the game to know that that's what happened. People had to purchase the game, again, a sequel to one of the most successful games of its generation. The original Last of Us was a huge success on the PlayStation 3. Yeah, obviously people wanted the sequel. Just because they ended up hating the sequel doesn't mean they didn't want the sequel. Y'all know that The Force Unleashed did massive numbers, even though we found out that it wasn't actually very good. I see. Thank you for the $1 due, Aztec Warrior. And then Daxnar says, Hugo has humbly requested Horsecock. Let me get to my points, and then I'll play some clips. I'll read some super chats. So yeah, y'all just start sending them in, and I'll read them all when the points are finished. But anyway, so that's the very easy example, right? He says they can't explain this. Yeah, you can. It's the biggest entertainment industry in the world. These are all incredibly normie-based games, so you're going to have a huge normie audience for them. Duh. You can't be blinded by the culture war because players are showing up regardless. The irony of saying you can't be blinded by the culture war when Homeboy wants to create his own culture war out of Eevee, when by his own logic, players are going to show up regardless. Like, what's with your crusade against Eevee if by your own logic, gamers are going to show up regardless, right? Like, I can't. I know the dude is a moron, and yet for whatever reason, I have trouble rationalizing how you can be that much of a moron. Also note, iO's previous games, Hitman 1, 2, and 3, before being renamed World of Assassination, sold over 25 million copies combined. There we go. So he then goes on to say in a different post, let's see, this one right here. This is the only reasonable reply I've seen from what I call the faux anti-woke. By the way, let's get one thing clear. I'm not anti-woke. I'm not. I used to say that, and I realized that was gay and cringe and dumb and shit. Why? Because anti-woke has lost all meaning. Because woke has lost all meaning. When you call things like Stellar Blade Blood Rain woke, I'm sorry, homie. What are we doing here? The word woke has lost meaning. Just like, transphobe, just like racist, just like Nazi, all those words have lost meaning. So if woke has lost meaning, then definitionally anti-woke has as well. Just call me what I am. Grifter. No, just a dude who fucking knows that I'm right and everybody else is wrong, so you guys come listen to me. James Bond, let's see. If James Bond's long tail doesn't hit over 10 million, that's probably going to be less than what they would like to sell. For sure. Absolutely. Yeah. His mustache, bro, his mustache incredibly fucking woke. Incredibly woke. What can I say? Maybe it's because I don't have Twitter, but people are calling Stellar Blade. No, only this guy. Only this guy. He's calling Stellar Blade Blood Rain woke. So the point is, he says these faux anti-woke people. Well, I'm not faux anti-woke because I'm not anti-woke to begin with. I'm just out here, talking common fucking sense and saying things like, yo, let's deport all Muslims. Common sense. And out of respect for this reply alone, homie has no respect for anything, I'm elaborating on my view of this whole Evie controversy. I honestly didn't put much thought about it when I first saw the Blood Rain trailer. You don't say! So you watched the game trailer, and you didn't put much thought into it. Maybe that's because you're not a gamer? Maybe that's because I know that when we were watching the trailer and we were live streaming the event, me, Hypno, Sevi, when we were watching the event, we put lots of thought into that trailer. Not about whether or not Evie was a fucking sex doll looking like a child. No, we were putting thoughts behind like, yo, why are they switching up the combat to go into throwing hands? I personally like that better. Hypno prefers the sword combat. At least that's what it seems like to be the case. We started wondering, yo, why is the world all technologically advanced? Is this in the far future? Is this just another one of the space colonies? We actually did put a lot of thought into it because we're gamers and we like games. I just noticed a terrible marketing mistake by Shift Up and replacing Eve. How can it be a terrible marketing mistake if again, by your own logic, players are going to show up regardless? I mean, again, that is his own words. Players are showing up regardless. Well, if players are showing up regardless, how is it a terrible marketing strategy? She had become a symbol against censorship. Ironic, considering Stellar Blade itself was censored. The first Stellar Blade was censored. Hey, shout out the raid, King Alucard. I appreciate it. However, I was more focused on LaFay, the state of play, and Gen Atlas, so I didn't comment on it at the time. No, let's be real. You didn't see an avenue for a grift. That's what it was. You didn't see an avenue for a grift. Whereas the rest of us were all just talking about video games in both a good and bad light. Because honestly, there was a lot of good stuff at these events. There was a lot of good stuff at the state of play. There was a lot of good stuff at Xbox. There was less good stuff at actual Summer Game Fest itself, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, so he goes on to say from there, just being focused on the grift. Then Asmongold dared to speak against Evie. He says that like that was some big cultural flashpoint. Oh no, Asmongold's had a lot of opinions over the years. Some good, some horrendous. Some dog shit takes, some incredibly based fucking takes. Like, just like all of you. I've taken some L's on my videos. I've taken some massive W's in my videos. Because we all fucking do. What are we doing? Let's see. I watched how Smash JT was reacting by interpreting what Asmongold was saying. There was no interpreting. We know what Asmongold was saying. Asmongold was crashing out, saying that you can't compare Evie to Frieren when you 1000% can. Like anybody that knows anything about Eastern character design and writing philosophy, you can absolutely compare Even and Frieren. Asmongold didn't dare say anything. He did what he always does, which is say a thing. This time the thing happened to be a massive fucking L. And mind you, no biggie. Like, you're also acting like those of us that criticize Asmongold are somehow like, oh, we're turning on Asmongold. We're trying to censor him. I stayed up last night. Like, for those of you guys that don't know, from 9 p.m. last night to 9 a.m. this morning, I stayed up all night gaming. I was playing Expedition 33. I pulled an all-nighter gaming. Not as hard to do in your 30s as you would think it would be. Anyway, spent half that time listening to Asmongold while doing it. And I spent the other half the time listening to Caleb Hammer and Financial Audit. It is what it is. But yeah, I was listening to White Files, Asmongold, and Financial Audit while I played Expedition 33. Like, oh no, I criticized him a fucking week ago. Now I'm like an expert Asmongold hater. Nah, he just had a dumb fucking comment. I make dumb comments all the time, and you guys call them out here on the stream. It's just funny as fuck. I kept quiet until I opened X the next day and saw how deranged the center was behaving simply because Asmongold had to take against Evie. And that's another interesting point. He says the center. Now, I don't know about none of these guys. I don't know Sir D. I don't know about V. I don't know about Endymion. I don't know about Pat Girl. I don't know about Jay Viper. maybe they consider themselves centrists. I never have. And I am more far right than anybody over here. I just want to put that out here. I am further right than anybody on his quote unquote conservative list. Like I have such a staunch right-wing opinion of I think we should be denaturalizing people and deporting them. I don't think that prison's good enough. I would like to see public executions. Just wrap that shit up on the fucking spot, get it done before lunch, and move on about our fucking day. V is Romanian. Yeah, it's true. He's Romanian. So like, what is the center even? It's I guarantee take any right-wing position, any culturally right-wing position, I guarantee you I'm further right than anybody on his quote-unquote conservative or their own niche thing. But again, for whatever reason, he wants to say the center. Maybe everybody else is the center. I don't know. Then there's Razor Fist. And yeah, I'm on a list. Yeah, I'm on a list. I first shared my opinion on Evie from a commercial perspective. No, you didn't. You were talking about her as if she was some like it was honestly kind of weird and creepy the way he was talking about Evie. It was in this weird, like, deified, some sort of goddess of gaming, some sort of symbol of anti-censorship. That is a uniquely Western concept, by the way. That's a uniquely Western concept. Let's be real. The vast majority of the sales for Stellar Blade were in East Asia. They were in Japan. They were in South Korea. Like, that's where the most of these sales were coming from. I'm not saying that there weren't a big portion of sales from the U.S., but these are southeastern, these are Eastern games and being sold in South Korea, Japan. They're not looking at this culture of anti-censorship. Yeah, Eve was an anti-woke goddess, this cultist. Correct. But people buying the game in Japan and in South Korea, we're not looking at Eve as some sort of bastion of anti-censorship propaganda, some symbolism. Like that is what he referred to her as. And those who champion anti-censorship, the center, went hard against it. Because ironically, here's the funniest part. This is a leftist tactic. The same way that leftists have tried to tell you that words don't matter, that man and woman are interchangeable. You can just make up whatever gender you are, and it's fine, and you have to accept it. He's doing the same thing here. By stating that we fans are fine with Evie, he's saying that we're pro-censorship. No, being pro-censorship would be demanding the devs to do what we want, as opposed to letting them be creatively free to do what they want. The censorship would be forcing them to change their vision. Well, if this is shift up vision, and we're down for it, that would inherently make us anti-censorship, because we're saying we do not want to censor your creative vision. Do what you want. And again, George does know this. This is an attempt to reframe his ideology of saying Eve is hot, therefore she's anti-censorship as a default, when that's not correct. That's not what being against censorship has ever been. Being against censorship, and mind you, I'm very pro-censorship. I am. Get genderqueer out of schools. Get Muslims out of our country. I'm very pro-censorship. However, ideologically speaking, in terms of the idea that being anti-censorship means that we should want Eve, those are not logically congruent ideas. I shared this. I followed up by posting the "Embrace Tradition" meme. They went completely unhinged. The V's, the J Viper, the No Room for Wokeness, the Words of Paradises, all those accounts that make up the anti-censorship squad were losing their minds with gotchas. Well, if it was a gotcha, that must be more correct. Just saying. If there was a gotcha, then we're correct. What do you mean? Like, he says this. But give me an example. Give me an example, because when someone said to Asmongold, Frieren is a lolly, yeah, they're correct. And for us, as anime fans and manga fans, to be like, yes, definitionally, by definition of what a lolly is, Frieren is a lolly. That's not a gotcha. That's calling out tourists. That's gatekeeping. Republicans pounce ass take. Wasn't George one of the actual? He is. He is an actual grifter. And again, I don't normally get involved in this discourse because I just don't care. I don't like giving the airtime, and I wasn't gonna retweet or anything like that. But I do want to talk about it on here because I thought, it is honestly really fucking funny and cute that I made this list. It made me feel all good in my inside feely parts. So there is that aspect to it. But it was really just this long diatribe here. You know, the anti-censorship squad were losing their minds with gotchas. Their followers were blocking and quoting me desperately. Yeah, correct. People will gravitate towards showing someone they're wrong, even if they'll never accept it. And Yorch knows he's wrong, by the way. Yorch is actually not so delusional to think he is correct here, but he needs to stay committed to the grift. That's the thing. Yorch needs to stay committed to the grift. He can't be seen changing his mind or altering his viewpoint because that will burn the very few bridges he still has with these individuals. That's the box he has painted himself in. I already knew these center would turn out to be more censorious and unhinged than those they criticize when I exposed my thoughts on KCD 2. So wait. More censorious. KCD 2. Strange, wasn't it? Those of us, I guess the faux anti-woke, you want to call them, who are saying, don't censor KCD 2. If there's gay shit in it, let the free hand of the market decide. That's what I seem to recall happening. I seem to recall us anti-censorship individuals saying, let the free hand of the market decide. And I do see those supers. I will get to them, guys. I promise. Split Fiction and Expedition 33 last year. Right. Expedition 33. Guys, I'm finally playing it. I've been very clear about this. I had not played Expedition 33 up to this point. I finally started playing it. I got it when it came out because I wanted to support the game. But my rig at the time wasn't a very good rig, and I felt like the game deserved to be done at the highest specs, the best way possible. Now that I have my new PC, I'm playing it. In fact, let me show y'all something. Let me show y'all something. These individuals never see. They talk a lot about games, right? They talk a lot about games, but they never seem to actually show their credentials. We got me here. Almost 80 hours of gaming in the past 2 weeks. And almost 80 hours. 47 of it, Expedition 33. 47 hours of my recent almost 80 hours, Expedition 33. Now you tell me, out of curiosity, where's the wokeness? I'm still not seeing it. I'm still not seeing it. I don't want to talk about how many hours I put into EU4 last month. Right. Like, these people will never show credentials. These people aren't real gamers. They talk some shit because that is what actual grifting is. Because that is what actual grifting is. Now, I won't lie. I've been looking for the wokeness, man. I have. Is it in the room with us right now? Is the wokeness in the room with us right now? Because as somebody who's almost 50 hours in E33, I ain't fucking seen it, bro. Sure, there's going to be but there's the whole EV controversy. Prove my hypothesis. It did not, by the way. Sure, there's going to be significant overlap on my takes against ideology and gaming. That doesn't mean it will. I will conform to the center, to what the center dictates. Well, the center is not dictating anything. The center is saying, let the free hand of the market decide. And if Stellar Blade 2 Blood Rain or Stellar Blade Blood Rain fails, maybe I'll eat some crow because the free hand of the market would have decided. However, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I really don't. If you look at the numbers, the like ratio, the engagement, yeah, Stellar Blade Blood Rain been doing mighty fucking fine. So if you're going to say you will not conform to what the center dictates, that means you are asking for an echo chamber. And in fact, it does mean you're being censorious of sorts. If you're trying to remove these voices and say they're wrong, you're being censorious towards the fans of EV, the fans of Stellar Blade, by lobbing accusations such as pedophile. If there's one word that should never lose meaning, If there's one word that should never lose meaning, probably pedophile. Let's be real. That's the one. I would say that there's just one word more important than any other that should never lose meaning, and that's pedophile. And when you start lobbing accusations of like, oh, you like Evie, therefore you're a pedophile, when we got Muslims in this country and we got Muslim grooming gangs in the UK and in Europe that's running around raping 9-year-old girls, that's way more of a fucking problem. I don't want to see the word pedophile be destigmatized. That's a really, really important word. The idea that could be normalized as just internet speak. And to be fair, it kind of already has. How many people called Cass a pedo earlier for posting memes about Evie? Like, that is the road we're on. That is what your insane level of censorship has done. But that's actually not even the final point. Because I want to go back to this. They can't explain why The Last of Us 2 sold 10 million copies, or Ghost of Yote sold 3.3, or the 007 First Light has sold 3 million. But wait a sec. Xbox reportedly planning to shut down Compulsion Games, studio that produced Sweet Baby Inc. flop South of Midnight. Compulsion Games spent years developing South of Midnight, a title heavily associated with Sweet Baby Inc., the controversial narrative consulting firm that is becoming a lightning rod with the gaming community. Despite receiving praise from critics and collecting industry awards, the game failed to generate meaningful player interest and quickly became one of Xbox's most disappointing releases. Well, why weren't people showing up for this? People showed up for Last of Us. People showed up for James Bond. People showed up for Ghost of Yote. Why didn't people show up? Maybe because this isn't a normie-friendly game. This wasn't some massive AAA game with huge marketing. It's almost like normies can more or less dictate what sells in the mainstream. But these sort of niche games are built on gamers themselves. Real gamers. Normies didn't know South of Midnight existed. Real gamers did, and we didn't fucking buy it. And now the studio looked like it can get shut down. Same thing with Forspoken. Same thing with Concord. Same thing with any of these other recent games that devolved into either the game being shut down or full studio closures. I mean, Square Enix shut down the studio that did Forspoken. Forspoken was not some like AAA darling like Pragmata or Resident Evil or Final Fantasy or something. Forspoken was a niche thing, and it didn't catch on with gamers because real gamers hated it. And guess what? The studio got shut the fuck down. So his entire argument of they can't explain why The Last of Us 2 sold 10 million. Now, by the way, there's other factors. There's, of course, other factors. I'm not just saying, oh, it's anti-woke content creators and gamers that are out there like getting these studios shut down. Now, there's a part of it. Yes, that's absolutely a part of it. Another part of it is just the market is the industry is in shambles right now. There's so much bloat. Dev times are insane. They're all using the same Unreal Engine 5 slop. It's not just about ugly bitches with jawlines. The point that I'm getting at is that, yes, when it comes to games that are made for gamers as opposed to games that are made for the normie audience like these, gamers have a say. They have a huge sway. And we know this because we've seen so many studios shuttered the last couple of years. We've seen since 2023, I believe the number is somewhere in the realm of over 25,000 layoffs. 25,000 layoffs in the Western gaming industry. I was mildly interested in South of Midnight, but playing the demo, I didn't find it fun, so I didn't buy it. Funnily enough, same. Well, not about playing the demo. I took a lot. I just watched a lot of gameplay of it. I was interested in the story. I was interested in the world. I liked the trailers. Then when I saw the gameplay, I just thought, oh, it just didn't look fun. But point is, that's kind of where we're at with this. That's where we're at. And I want to finish out. I know a lot of you guys have probably only ever seen Yorch on X. You've only read his tweets. The guy that talks about being a big, strong, macho man and wants to bring masculinity back to gaming, I just want to let you guys know what he sounds like.
That you could purchase like during the 90s, during the mid 2000s, and after something happened with gaming around 2014, where I saw that things were not going in the right direction.
If something happened around 2014, by the way, I can tell you what happened in 2014. Gamergate happened in 2014. But where have you been the last 12 years? I know where I've been the last 12 years. I've been posting on the internet. I've been on message boards, and I've been talking about Gamergate, and I've been doing content. Yeah, I've been like ask a homeboy future over you. Ask the IRL best friend, which by the way, he is correct. Deport. But ask Paul. Ask my boy Future, the IRL best friend. I've been talking about this shit since way before I had a YouTube channel. Way before I had a YouTube channel. I would just talk about this shit in casual fucking conversation. Back when I was listening to Chris Ray Gun and some black guy, back before Donald Trump was even in fucking office the first time.
And then it was a little bit funny because legacy media started to criticize and attack gamers. And that's when I immediately said, hey, things are really not going on well with gaming. I kept on gaming, doing my thing. But this year in particular, that's when I decided to start my X account.
There we go. This year. Now, mind you, this year actually means last year. This is the numbers that he pulls. There's 145 of you watching live right now, not including the replays this is going to get, not including when I clip this into a video. There's 145 of you watching live right now. We're getting, there's 107 of you just on YouTube watching right now. This dude, he makes the claim, 2024 specifically. Thank you, Serranos. He tried to make the claim on X the other day that gaming discourse isn't happening on YouTube, that it's only happening on X. If that was the case, why are you showing up on a show of 266 subs and not even pulling 600 views? Because right now, this stream alone is at more than half this, and we've only been going for 43 minutes. In fact, the gaming discourse is happening on X. It is. The gaming discourse is absolutely happening on X. But X is a pretty small, confined niche space to the rest of the world. YouTube, on the other hand, is the biggest streaming platform in the world. Its daily active users dwarf Netflix, dwarf Amazon, dwarf Twitch. The only reason so much of this stuff that's being said on X is getting exposed is because of YouTube. The most discourse to see about this is on YouTube. Exactly. It's because YouTube has a much, much larger and much more, ironically, diverse user base than X does.
Talking about games, which is one of my main passions, while also providing commentary and criticizing everything that is wrong, particularly with Western AAA gaming. And things really...
But I'm not going to subject you guys much more to that. I thought it was interesting. I definitely thought it was interesting that sort of meme cropped up that he made, because it doesn't actually seem to hold any level of, under any scrutiny, it doesn't have any logical consistency. And none of us are shocked, right? None of us are shocked whatsoever about the lack of logical consistency from ideologues. And I'm an ideologue. You know I'm an ideologue. I wouldn't be out here talking about deporting motherfuckers and banning Islam and banning filthy fucking communists from this country if I wasn't also an ideological individual. I absolutely am. But Captain A. Wolf was right. You have to play games to be a gamer. I could be both. I could be a politically ideological individual who wants to ban communism and ban Muslims from this country, and I absolutely do. I think they are incompatible with our Western way of life. I can also shut the fuck up about that sort of stuff and play Expedition 33 for 12 hours straight while I listen to Financial Audit, because that's what I did last night. You know what I mean? Like...